Hope it's not too windy for you guys to hear. We're back at home. Literally don't even need any intro. Let's just get right into the stuff. Before I can even pull my phone out, we win a pretty big one. As you can see, we have about 360 in our stack. So unfortunately I didn't catch that on camera, but this is going to move right into our first hand about 20 minutes after the queen's hand. I have 6-7 of spades in the low jack. There's 2 limps and an open to 7 from the hijack. This is really small. We're definitely playing it. The only question is, do we want to raise? And in these past 20 minutes, I have just been 3-betting like a menace, just almost every hand. Plus, there's been some limping, some pretty strong hands already, so I decided to just play this multi-way and put in the call. I think it's fine. There are 2 other callers, so we're going to go 4 ways to a flop, which is pretty good, I'd say. 7-5 deuce rainbow. The pre-flop raiser is going to continue, which is almost always a really good hand, because how can he just barrel ace high into 4 people or 3 other people on a board that's terrible for him? Anyways, nothing to do here but put in the call with our backdoor draws and top pair. And he only did bet 10, so very small. I call and the small blind calls as well. So let's go 3 ways to the bink 6 of hearts on the turn. We turn 2 pair and it now checks to me as I'm in position and for sure betting here. So I make it 30 just to get value from straight draws and over pairs now that aren't comfortable betting themselves, but will definitely still call. The small blind calls pretty quickly, and the initial raiser folds, so definitely just an ace high hand, king high even. And the river is pretty bad. It's the ace of hearts, so this completes the backdoor flush draw, completes some better 2 pairs that he could have, like ace 7, ace 6, even some gutters get there. So when he checks, I think it's a little thin, maybe go for value, but we just check it back. And he also shows 6-7 off, so we're going to drop this one up with the same hand. Maybe an hour and a half later, grueling session, we pick up 8-6 of spades under the gun. Now, this is a fold, right? This is clear-cut fold, but I've just been so card dead, and I don't mind raising like very small amount of the time. As 1-2 here, there's not many 3-bets that go on. So I open to 7. We get like everyone to call. I think we're 6 ways to a flop, which is king 7-3 all red. Like I see that and I kind of just give up on this hand. I'm not going to try to rep something, but it ends up checking around. And now the turn is another king. Now this kind of spikes my interest because I think a lot of kings are being bet on the flop. And it checks to me again, and yeah, the people to my right are more likely to have a king on the flop, but less likely when it checks around on the turn again. And we still have a range advantage, like jacks, queens that could check the flop, just wanting to see where we're at, and comfortable now betting the turn when another king comes. So the way it's been played, I don't mind sabbing. I bet 15, don't need to go too big. There's 1 caller from the small blind, and everyone else folds. I'm just planning on betting basically any brick, and that's what comes. It's the 9 of clubs. Small blind checks, and I bet 30. She does not like it, and after like 20 seconds ends up folding, so I think our read on this position was pretty good. We're playing well, feeling great. Let's not jinx us here, but let's just keep this up, eh? In the room, taking a little break. It's a grind session. We're doing quite well. Like, see, I've been on a downswing. Dev, see what happens when you play properly and don't fucking play every hand and chase? That's what happens. We do good. Let's keep it up. Yeah, we're gonna keep it up here by instantly going into our worst play of the day with king 7 of hearts. I'm in the small blind and I've been folding for the past 2 hours, so my image has got to be just a nit at this point, like Henry. So when under the gun opens to 10, I decide on a 3-bet. This is simply a fold from the under the gun raise range, but I'm going to 3-bet to 35. And we can get some information out of this 3-bet, right? Like if he calls, then we're going to have to play out a position and a pot, but that's not what happens. He now 4-bets, but it's a min 4-bet. He 4-bets to 65. So this is just like aces and kings, right? like so rarely even ace king. But for this size, like I don't think we can fold, especially any suited cards. So I'm gonna put in the call, and this is why we just get ourselves into trouble with these sorts of hands. And the flop is what I'm hoping for. It's king 8-3 with 2 diamonds and a heart. So backdoor flush draw, top pair, really bad kicker. And now he just checks it over to me. Like, very weird hand happening here. He should be c-betting 100% of his range for a small size on this board, I'm assuming. But when the turn brings the deuce of diamonds, I see the green light to go start betting for some reason. Like, I'm just thinking, okay, he has ace queen suited or queens, and maybe that will call 2 barrels. So this is definitely a bad play. We're just gonna have to check and see what he wants to do, and then maybe go for some thin value on the river if he were to check it back. But not what I did here. I bet 40, and I don't really know what I want. Like, I mean, a fold would be great. But he clicks call, so we're gonna be playing a river here, and the river's just a brick, and I don't remember what it was, but I think queens may not believe us here, or jacks, if that seems likely at all. I mean, aces obviously still make sense the way it's been played. So how much would they call? I'm thinking around 60. I end up betting 55, leaving myself around 115 left. And he now jams, and I'm just like, oh my god, what is this hand? Right? This is pocket kings, top set, or just aces, or another set, but like 100% of the time, because way too small of a price. And I say it out loud at the table. I'll show you guys the audio after, but I say, I guess you just have aces with the diamond, or the nut flush. Ace X of diamonds also makes sense. But I put in the call. It's way too little to fold. And he has, you'll never guess what. You have aces with a diamond or something? Oh, so sick. Aces with a diamond? Yeah, I click call. Bad play here. At least I can like make some reads though, and then not act on them, it seems. Had a little chat with Bernardo about this one, and yeah, he asked some good questions. Morale is down. It's a boring session, grueling stuff. But let's see if we can turn it around. When I look down at ace king suited under the gun +1, I'm going to open a 10 here after the under the gun position limps, and we get a call in the cutoff before the under the gun now just limp rips it. Limp jams on me for 132. Oh my god, this is just so brutal. Like, what are we doing here? It's either we're crushed or flipping, right? It's never ever going to be ace queen, ace jack, hands like that. So I guess it's just a fold. Sucks to suck for me, but this, what can you do, man? What a session. I asked the player, and he would later say he had pocket jacks, so yeah, it was a flip. And if he showed me the jacks, I probably would have called. But even for that price, not great. If I had more invested, it's a call, but not here. Let's go to a little bit of a better hand here. 4 deuce of hearts, and kind of plays itself. We're gonna throw it in. I'm in the big blind. There's 4 limps to me. I'm going to check the option, see a free flop, and it's pretty stellar. It comes king 4-4 with 2 diamonds. The small blind now leads out for 8, and tons to get value from a king, diamonds, not a better 4. But I'm going to raise to 20, and the low jack now cold calls the 20, which is kind of scary because we have the worst possible 4, but I think it's pretty unlikely he has one as well. And the small blind now jams, but it's only $46, so I flick in the call, and the low jack folds, so weird line by both players. Maybe not the small blind, but he shows 9 deuce of diamonds, a little bit of a sweat for the flush draw. Let's go to a run out. We need one.
I don't know if you need diamond anymore. Nice hand.
We killed him on the turn by making a full house. Not a big pot, not that important. Good for morale. But this next one's a pretty good play. I'm going to say this is my best play of the day. and it all starts when we have ace-3 offsuit, but it's one of my favorite hands, suited variety, and I'm in the big blind. It folds all the way around to the button, who opens to 15, and this is a massive raise without there being a straddle on, so folding is absolutely fine. However, my second favorite hand on a day like today after this session, and it's in the video, you see how this is going to go. I put in the call, and we're going to go heads up to a queen 5-5 flop. I check, and he just checks back, kind of strange, and now the turn is the ace of hearts. Great turn because we're just chopping with anything worse than ace-queen. And I think he'll hit this ace or bet it because he is a pretty solid player. So I check again, and he now checks it back again. So the river's the king of hearts, and I never have anything strong on this board. He just has it all. So I decide to check and trap, or quote-unquote trap my ace. And I'm checking for the third time. He can value bet a king maybe. He takes the bait, and he bets 20, and I think most of the time we're winning or chopping, because I think ace-king, ace-queen, all of his strongest hands bet. So I think we're chopping a lot of the time here. I don't think we should ever put in a call to chop, you see, so that only leaves us a raise. And if I'm raising, I'm quite confident that we won't get called by better, so we could just call to a chop or get him off of the chop. So I'm going to bump it up to 60 here, and he instantly doesn't like it, goes in the tank, and after about a minute, he shows an ace, it's the ace of clubs, and folds. So it looks like the plan worked out to perfection here. This brings us to the last interesting hand of the night. Let's run back, ace-king off. Feels like forever since we've won, actually, with this hand. So there's an open to 7 from a pretty tight player. The button calls, and I decide to 3-bet to 25 from the small blind. The big blind calls my 3-bet, and this is normally done with a lot of low-suited aces or maybe a low to medium pocket pair that doesn't feel like they should 4-bet, when sometimes they should. But the button calls, however, and we're going to go 3 ways to a flop, out of position of 10-6-3 rainbow. I feel like everyone is going to miss a lot, and I can put a ton of pressure on these low-suited aces and pocket pairs that haven't made a set. So I like to continue for 25. The big blind calls and the button folds, so really looking like maybe suited connectors even with a 6, backdoor draws. The turn is another 6, so way less likely he has one now, but we're not going to get him off that if he has. I look at his stack, and it's only about 65 left. I'm thinking, what would I do if I had aces or kings? And it's probably just an easy all-in, so I decide to shove as a bluff, and we fade the snap call, so always nice. He's talking to himself, asking if he should risk it all or stay and play, and I'm praying he does not decide to risk it all. And after a full minute, he finally puts the fold in. Nice to get this one through to end off the session. There's one more hand I'm just going to throw in here, excuse me. Didn't play it out. I actually folded pre-flop after a 3-bet and a cold 4-bet shove, and I folded with 9s, but this run out just really hurts after the day we've had. We would have gotten it all in pre versus ace-jack suited and another ace, I'm pretty sure, and we would have rivered quads on the first one, and I only would have run it once, so we would have rivered quads, stacked both players, and won the quad bounty, which was like $500, but we folded pre. Oh, God. Just got felted for the second time. Our stack was dwindling. We got it in really good against the fucking action guy who was just hammered, and he rivered a gutter against our top pair. I don't even think that hand's gonna make it in, but it was a big one. And then last hand, we had like 60 bucks. There was a raise to 10. I had pocket 7s, and I was like, whatever, get it in. Guy calls with ace king, flops ace 9-9. We don't improve. Felt it for the second time. Brutal stuff, guys. Really nothing to say. It was really boring, really card dead. And then got really fun when the action drunk guy Shout out to Martin David, absolute beauty. Really fun. Worst part, or best part and worst part of the day. Would have hit quads and the high hand, but I folded pre-flop like a fucking baby. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the hands. Whatever, numbers, we know them. Fucking felt it twice. They'll still be coming up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be posting a little more frequently from now on. So stay updated. Take care.